the jingle that signifies another reading from Karl Pilkington's diary. Got up and put the radio on. I listened to the story that the vicar read on Radio 2.
Yeah, that could be good.
He was saying how Jesus was 33 when he died. He said he was more into the idea of doing a lot in your life than living for ages. This was linked to the news about the doctor who's come up with some stuff that he's been injecting himself and his wife with that makes you age better. I looked it up on the internet. It wasn't worth them doing it because they are already old looking. I don't know why people want to stay looking young. You can wear a bald head better if you're old because hairs are replaced by wrinkles.
That's drivel.
No, it's not drivel.
Pointless.
It's just
a pointless entry to a diary, that.
It's not, because that could be like an important bit in like world history.
What?
The fact that someone's trying to make people not age. Age is good, isn't it? When you see an old person.
That's been going forever.
What has?
People trying to age better.
No, but he's talking about if you're 90, he wants people to look like they're 30. And that's not good, because how would the world run when that's going on?
Well, I agree. But
you know, when
again, it's not a revelation.
If I like chatting to old people, because they know a lot of stuff. So if I'm sat on a train and someone's old, I'm happier talking to them about...
They get up and move after about 10 minutes.
Well, he likes the fact that many of them are infirm and can't.
Yeah, they have to stay there and listen to this one.
But yeah, even that means that they're getting more out of life in a way, because they don't move about as much, so they have more thinking time. It is weird how that happens to you as you get closer to death.
Jesus.
You know, you're not working as much because you're resting, and you can think back about your life, and you can think, oh, I had a good one. Actually, it's not been that bad. Whereas if...
But you must have started that now, because you've been doing nothing for the past 3 months.
Yeah, but I'm just... Well, like I'm saying, it is a good thing for you to do, to sort of think about what you've been doing with your days and your weeks.
And how do you assess your life so far? With all this spare time you've had on your hands and moping around and moaning about your illness and just sitting round, right? You've been introspecting, have you?
Yeah.
Go on then. What have you come up with?
I haven't come up with anything. I'm just, I'm just, you know, I have an all right life, and things are changing.
Oh, keep saying that.
No, but you don't know how much they are changing, to the point of, I don't know if I mentioned the squirrel eating Mars bars, but from that, from that happening to monkeys opening bottles with lids on them, to, it's mental out there. It's madness what is going on. And all I'm saying is old people need to be old people. You need oldness. You need to see old people. You need to go, right, they might have a solution. They've been on the earth longer. Quick, we need an answer. How old are you? I'm 32. Well, you look 78.
I don't know what you're saying! I don't know who that conversation was with, why you got angry, and I think you made the opposite point that you were making at the beginning. If you say you're 32, you look 78. No, you were saying about it'd be a problem if you were 78 and looked 32. Well, I don't know what you're saying. You came down the wrong side then. You did that whole thing and you bollocksed it up again in your brain.
I'm just saying, either way, you need to have people who look old. Otherwise, who's in charge?
I don't know what you mean. Right. So you say so you're saying it'd be alright to make 78-year-olds look 32, as long as there were some 32-year-olds that look 78, as long as you've got old-looking people.
No, but say
Can I tear this page out? Because it's worthless.
What I mean is, when I went to the doctors, I saw the specialist, right, about the kidney stones. I was asking him all the straight questions.
Go on.
Is it life-threatening?
No.
You know, how long am I going to be out?
Couple
all the rest of it, right? Now...
As it turned out, it is life-threatening, and you've been out for 3 months whinging about the fucking thing. Strange.
Now, he was quite old. He looked about 55. And that reassured me in a way. In a way it didn't, because he's one of them doctors who didn't open his eyes much, and I kind of thought, I hope you open them wider.
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean?
What?
What do you mean he didn't open his eyes much?
One of those sort of doctors who's either that overworked, that he does that, you know, when he's tired, so he's going, right, what we're going to do is, and he's doing that with his eyes shut, he's talking like that.
This is radio.
I know, but I'm telling you, so you can see.
But people are meant to be listening to this.
But if they can't imagine me with my eyes shut...
Well, tell him you got your eyes shut. Just say he had his eyes shut.
Yeah, he had his eyes shut.
Oh. Had he been reading this? Bored stupid, I imagine. He's just trying to get a...
Well, do you know what I mean? Or I don't know if it's because he's tired or if he's that educated that some people know so much you don't even have to look at it.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Intelligent people.
Who is so educated that they don't need to open their eyes?
You see it. You see like...
Who's that bloke over there? Is he blind? No, he's been reading too much. He doesn't open his eyes anymore, doesn't he? No.
Old people who you see wearing tweed and what have you, and they're really posh and they talk, and whenever they talk, their eyes are shut and they
I
open.
don't know what this observation is.
I don't understand why you've never seen that.
I've never seen an old, educated man wearing tweed who doesn't bother open his fucking eyes.
Steve,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Steve, have you seen... Do you know what I mean? When people don't sort of open their eyes when they're talking to you, and it can be quite annoying, because it's like they're saying, I'm not interested about you sat there, I'm not bothered if you're listening, I'm saying what I'm saying because I say what I say. And it can be quite annoying.
If he has got his eyes closed, he's probably just trying to absorb what you're saying and think carefully about
probably.
it, so he doesn't misdiagnose you.
I'm not having a go at him.
Well, it sounds
I'm
like
just
you are.
saying he was 50 odd, and I was happy that he was there telling me.
I don't know why you were watching his eyes when he was telling you about your insides.
Because you can tell a lot by people's eyes. That's what I said about jellyfish. But, you know, just lines in a face tell a few stories, and I don't think we should get rid of them lines.
Brilliant.
Wise words.
Well, here we are, number 5 in a series of 6 of the Ricky Gervais Show, with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello there.
And Karl Pilkington.
Alright.
Well, Karl, you are officially a published author. Your book came out, The World of Karl Pilkington, and a copy will go in the British Library.
Will it?
Well, they
Yeah.
have to take every rubbish. I think it will go in the British Library lavatory.
From
From what I understand, it'll be in there with like a collection of like novelty postcards and maybe
exactly.
a Viz compendium. Well, you know.
Yeah, so they take everything. Just think of that.
But is that a rule they set up when books were more important to people? And now it's kind of like, oh, I wish we never said we'd do that.
Well, they have to add 2 miles of shelves every year, apparently.
That's what I mean. Now, surely, you know, they change a lot of other rules, don't they? They used to allow people having their head cut off. And now they've gone, we shouldn't do that anymore, so we'll sort that. Why don't they just say, only so many books a year make it in there? Ones that are important to the future.
But who knows what's important to the future?
Well, you know, normally, when I say something that I think's a good point...
Yeah, but you're always wrong.
No, but what I mean is when I say something that I think I have got a point there...
Yeah, but you're always wrong.
But why do they do this? Why do they think they've got to keep everything? Because we're living in a world now where everything is sort of binnable, and you know we use stuff for what it is.
Well,
I think you could say that.
Oh,
It's
that's fine.
binnable,
That's
yeah.
fine.
There was a sort of poetry to it, but I think he stumbled across that. I don't think it was intentional.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't got over last week him saying foodage.
Do you know what I mean, though? That the world's changed, so why is that rule still hanging around when...
Well, it's not a rule. I mean, it's not a rule that, you know, the country's going to, you know, live and die by. It's just that it is seen as a repository for knowledge, for information, and I don't believe any old Joe can wander in there and get one of these books. I think you have to either be a scholar, I think maybe it's open for a brief window for students, but you know, you can just wander in there and see your own book, Carl. You know,
There are
even though you're
some books that they have to turn the page for you in gloves, so the amino acids...
I'd hate that.
With yours, it won't matter. They just go, it's over there, or they throw it to you.
No, it's just...
Or they slide it along the floor.
They say, oh, I can't give it to you, Carl, because it's propping up this desk.
Yeah, they kick it to you and say, put it in the bog when you're finished with it.
It's just that thing of being timed, though. I hate it when people go, oh, have you read this? And then I can't read it properly because they're thinking I'm taking ages here. Do you know what I mean? So I have to scan read it. And I go, oh, it's good, that. And they go, what do you think? And I go, oh, about what? So I hate the fact that someone stood there with gloves on, because that isn't normal, relaxing sort of reading, is it?
But it's not, you don't go in to read the Doomsday Book, let's say, in order to just have a relaxing read. You're going in there to study
There
it,
are
you know,
certain,
historically.
say they're professors and scholars and scientists and historians. They don't wander in because it's raining and they go, what's a good read?
There's not a man wearing white gloves turning the pages of the latest Jackie Collins.
Exactly. Do you have heat?
Watching your lips move as you read to see if you can turn the next page.
White Stripe, Seven Nation Army that jumped twice. I apologise for that. You're the producer, Carl.
Yeah.
It jumped twice.
Well, it's not my fault if people are slipping around because of burgers on the floor. You're trying to squeeze my head when the song's playing.
What difference does that make?
Well, anyway.
Right. Don't do any. Right. I've just got some grapes there. We've counted them out. What's the record then?
Okay, well, the most grapes eaten in 3 minutes. You've got 3 minutes, Carl, and you've got to beat Matt Hand from the UK, who consumed a total of 133 grapes in 3 minutes on the 8th of November 2001.
Right, there's 150.
So there's 150 in there.
Right.
Okay.
So you got 3 minutes.
What are the rules?
The rules
You just
are...
gotta eat them and swallow them, and it's like Cool Hand Luke, right? You gotta just stuff them in and don't choke, because I got worried with the burger. That's a good advert for McDonald's, isn't it? Not only was I impressed by the cheapness of them, but he couldn't even get one in his mouth.
Yeah.
So, value for money there. Maybe they'd like to send us some free stuff.
Yeah, free, or just money. Any some money would be good.
Next week, Carl, you're eating Sony Walkmans.
That's right. Yeah.
Available for... right, right, Carl. Right, I think this is gonna be good, right? What we're gonna do, right? We've got Song 2 by Blur set up. We know that's 2 minutes, so you can play that, because that'd be boring radio hearing Carl choke, wouldn't it, for 3 minutes?
Exactly.
So, when I say go, Carl, right, I'm gonna go right on the minute, right? You've got to have a handful of grapes, and you've got to press Song 2 by Blur. When we come back, you'll be stuffing your face. Hold on. You won't be able to do that. How can you work the buttons?
I can do that.
No, I don't think you can. You cannot touch the grapes until the opening note
Yeah,
of
but
Song
hold
2
on.
begins.
When Blur 2, when Song 2 stops, can we just press up the fader? So because you'll be stuffing
Don't worry,
your
so
face.
we're almost, let's go, if we go,
Okay.
any second now.
Okay, right,
You're
okay.
ready,
3, 2, 1, go!
And he's off. That's good work from Carl there. He's approaching it cautiously to begin with. Cautiously. And he's keeping well, let's just, just keep him... Come on, don't make him laugh, Rick. He's choking. Oh, Carl!
Quick!
Keep going, Carl.
Come on!
What happened? Did he just throw up?
No! Don't make him laugh!
Oh,
Come on!
we can make wine. Come on, Carl, you're doing so well, mate.
I want to go. Come on, only...
Why are you making him laugh? That was a world record attempt.
Come on. He's over the...
Keep going.
Come on! You got 25 seconds. Come on.
Oh, I think that was a shame actually, because you were doing well, but something went wrong.
I know, and I think those are bigger grapes than the ones I've seen before. They're quite big grapes. Look at his face, he looks so despondent. Come on, Carl, 8 seconds. Just a few more.
5.
Come on, what's the matter?
2.
2, 1.
It's all over, Carl.
It's all over. We better count how many you did. Just you can get good at this. We can get good at this over the weeks.
I think that was a fairly pitiful attempt, actually. I really thought you had a... It's interesting, actually. These are harder records than you might think.
Yeah, I know. 6, 8, 10.
How do you feel after that record-breaking attempt?
Not happy with that.
What are you not happy about?
The fella who did it, was he in hospital and just had loads of grapes and was bored? I'm sure he wasn't producing a radio programme, that's for sure.
Well, to be fair, neither are you. What was tricky about it? What did you find hard?
I think having Ricky standing over me,
Yeah.
sort of shouting, "Go on!" isn't normal.
No. But that wasn't...
He hasn't eaten any! Hold on. That's 50 left.
That's quite a poor attempt then, by the seam of it. Would you think about trying to maybe do that again in a couple of weeks? Would you do some practice and try that again?
No, leave it for the experts.
And I noticed a tricky point. Maybe sort of when you had about 50 seconds to go, you seemed to be spewing things into the bin. What was that?
Again, mainly Ricky standing over me, sort of.
88. He's
What?
got 88 left.
Okay, so what's the mental arithmetic there? Because we put how many in? Was it 150 in the thing, wasn't it?
What did I say? What did I say I had left?
Well, I'm not doing it again,
88.
so...
He had 88 left.
So 62. God, you're only at 62. What's the matter with you, Carl? There's people start you at 62. That is rubbish.
That's
Oh,
disappointment.
Let's leave
So
that.
you failed on 2 world record attempts there.
That's 62, and the record's that is rubbish. What were you doing?
And when I was out last Sunday, right, at Johnny's birthday party,
Yeah.
Steve was there,
Yeah.
got talking about stuff, and a debate that we didn't really finish cropped up.
It blew your mind, didn't it?
Amazing.
Oh, I know about this. Steve told me. This is the infinite amount of monkeys. Or a monkey with a typewriter at an infinite amount of time would eventually come up with the works of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
There was no debate. It's a philosophical, mathematical problem. There's no debate. It's true.
It wouldn't happen.
No, listen, Carl, listen. Infinity sorts it all out for you, right? An infinite amount of monkeys at a typewriter, right? They do everything. They type everything. Infinity just sorts it all out for you. There's no getting to it and they're going, oh well, let's have a look what they've done. This one's come close. It did Romeo and Juliet. It would do it all. It would type everything ever possible, conceivable.
Yeah, but
it's a mathematical.
Well,
Infinity
we've heard your side of the argument, Rick. And I'll be honest with you, it's a persuasive one. But let's hear Carl, because he heard about this in a pub last week.
Yeah,
so
what's your problem? What's your problem with it? What's your problem with it?
well, first of all, right, you're saying it's a load of monkeys. It's not just one monkey. It
Depends.
That can live forever.
No, wait. It's either a chimpanzee with a typewriter with an infinite amount of time. He would eventually, by definition, mathematically, type everything ever possible. Okay, or it's an infinite amount of chimps with typewriters, and one of them will type it first time.
But already, that's not right. You either need to have.
What do
one
you mean?
monkey.
What? You mean
let's hear his
employment
point.
laws? What do you mean it's not right?
Let's hear him out, please.
Okay.
If it's one monkey
Yeah.
with a typewriter that's got loads of ink in it and that, right? At least it knows what it's done in the past.
It's not.
Keep going.
Cry.
If you've got a load of monkeys, it's like if you have too many. What's that saying about too many chefs?
Too many chimps spoil the soup.
Right. Well, it's the same thing. It's like, well, I didn't tell you to put salt in it. I was going to put salt in it, and it messes it up. Whereas if it's just one, they know what's gone on. So what I'm saying is,
just leave him go. I can't be bothered.
I want to hear.
This blows my mind. He doesn't know what this does to me. It's a mathematical problem.
I want to hear the rest.
well, it's just I just don't think it will happen.
What do you mean you don't think it'll happen? Infinity works it out for you by definition.
Well, what's stopping them typing the same thing again?
They would. In fact, the problem should be if you had an infinite amount of time that it would type that works for Shakespeare an infinite amount of times and everything else an infinite amount of times. But you know, that's not as.
But not Shakespeare.
Oh! Shut up, you idiot!
Rick, do you know what he said to me? I said to him, I explained it to him, I said,
God.
you've got an infinite number of monkeys, infinite number of typewriters, they will type the complete works of Shakespeare. He said, have they read Shakespeare?
You're an idiot! Play a
I said
record,
no.
I'm not having this
They're not
conversation.
doing it from
I'm not
memory.
having it, because it really, really winds me up.
But you're saying they'll do it with no spelling errors.
Well, they do it an infinite amount of times. And they do it wrong an infinite amount of times. And they spell, the last full stop, wrong an infinite amount of times. And they get one thing wrong in Hamlet wrong an infinite amount of times. They do everything an infinite amount of times.
But are they going off a story that they've
Play a record, Carl, because I'm gonna knock you out!
I'm just saying,
Shut up!
do they know the story?
Oh,
They're monkeys!
Oh, Christ.
No,
Right, okay.
As
Yeah.
ever, Rick, there's always someone who steps in to defend Carl.
Okay, what is the defence? What is the defence?
Here's an email from Scott Coomer. He says, Carl is actually right. I've got an A-level in statistics and probability. It doesn't matter how long they have and how many monkeys you have, you cannot guarantee they would type the complete works of Shakespeare. Infinity makes it probable they would get it right, but not definite.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
No, you weren't saying, Carl. You don't understand it. Infinity sort of sorts it out. That if they do anything, they nearly do everything, won't they?
No, I mean they'll give it a good shot.
No, that's not the point. But the
I'd
point
be
is
surprised if they did one page right.
Right, listen. It's not to do with consciousness. It's not to do with them aiming.
They are just bashing away at the keyboard.
It's like they're used to show that there isn't consciousness. They chose the chimpanzee because it can type, presumably, hit the keyboard.
It's because they hadn't come across you at the time.
Yeah. It's to take out thought out of it. It's to take out reason and trying, right? It's just random. They're saying that if you typed enough things, if the computer was left without typing everything, if you left it for an infinite amount of time, and they chose Shakespeare because there is meaning behind it, and it's difficult to get it exactly right, to show you that Infinity would come up with it's not just Shakespeare, it's every novel. It's everything.
Fairly eloquent there from Gervais. A quick riposte, please, from Karl Pilkington.
No, I'm just saying, what I don't understand, if it hasn't read it, then how does it know where it's going?
Listen, right, listen, right,
Can I
just explain to people, right, some people have said, oh, why are you cruel to Carl? He drives me mental with things like that.
What I thought I'd start doing is, start a diary.
Okay, why?
Just 'cause I sort of had a bit of time on my hands and that. Just thought, write it down, write stuff down.
And do you hope that this one day will become one of the great literary documents like Samuel Pepys' diary?
I haven't heard of that. Is it any good?
You've never heard of Samuel Pepys' diary?
No,
The most famous diary, other than probably Anne Frank's.
I've heard of Anne Frank's and that, and I thought if she's sat in a loft, knocking stuff up, not much going on in her life at that point, yet she was still writing it down.
Yeah, whereas
Thought,
you've
well,
been
I'm
to
on
Gran
holiday.
Canaria, yeah.
I thought, so there is stuff going on that I can chat about. Start a diary.
Sure.
You started a diary.
Yeah.
And what are you gonna do? Did you keep it up every day?
Yeah, just.
Oh, can I read it, please?
Well, a diary is meant to be sort of.
Please, can I read some out on this podcast? Carl.
Some of it though is only relevant to me. It's sort of.
This is. Please give me it. Oh my God.
I mean, this isn't. I haven't just.
Look how big it is!
It's one of those desk diaries.
It's huge. It's about a foot long, and it's Oh, that is amazing. Imagine if Anne Franks had been like that. As she got out, right, everyone would have heard it clank down on the desk.
Yeah, but my writing's quite big, isn't it?
Oh look, give us that.
Do you know about joined up writing? Have you heard about
is
that?
There's no point.
Amazing.
Sometimes you can't read it, can you? So it's
Right,
best
okay.
to look at ancient times.
Oh my God, it starts on the first day. This is wonderful. Going on holiday to Gran Canaria today. Woke up to the news that Tony Banks had died. There was a piece on the news about how everyone was shocked. Got me thinking about an invention that would be good. Right, a watch that counted down your life. If it says you've got 3 days left, go to the doctors. Told Suzanne about invention. She said she wouldn't buy one. But she said that about the iPod.
How would this device work, this watch? I mean, how would you know when you were about to die? Is that a concern? Again, not for you to worry about, presumably the boffins and stuff.
No, all I was thinking is that Tony Banks fella, he died and everyone was shocked about it. But if you had like a little watch on...
But how does it work? You can't just say, wouldn't it be good? How would this work? Yeah, I imagine you in the patent office going, got an idea. They go, oh, certainly, Mr. Pilkington, what's your idea? Watch that counting down your life. Oh, how does that work? What?
Just wear it, just pop it on your wrist.
No, what do you mean, just pop it on your wrist? How does it work? Just pop it on your wrist. Brilliant. You're an idiot.
Well, it's interesting that he goes on. The flight to Gran Canaria was a bit bumpy. I thought about the clock that counts down your life again, and I wondered if it would know if you were going to die in a disaster. No, he's querying his own design.
He's wondering if he would know. He's invented this.
And now he's not even sure. But while I was at my parents' house, they often, they keep clippings of things, if we've been mentioned in the papers, they like to keep a record of them and stuff, because, I like to show it to my grandparents, and keep fully abreast of things. And, I managed to find a couple of them. This was I don't know if you've heard this, Carl. It's, for people who don't realise, Carl was making a couple of little 3-minute TV projects recently that were on Channel 4. And in the Sunday Times, someone's written a letter about Carl to the Sunday Times.
Wow.
They can send in comments and views on things they've seen, read, heard.
Oh, excellent.
And this is what someone wrote to the Sunday Times. Who is Karl Pilkington? And why have I just wasted 5 minutes of my life listening to some of his cretinous thoughts on Channel 4? He asked, why are there so many dinosaurs on display in museums? Quotes, couldn't they just choose the best one and just show that? He summed it all up by deciding that we know too much. Somebody clearly doesn't know enough to know that this is a complete waste of airtime, showing no wit, intellect or creativity. That's from Wendy Robinson in Berkshire.
You can't have your critics. You know what I mean?
You've got to have your critics.
Of course you have. If everybody liked what you did, then you're not doing the right thing.
She wasted 5 minutes, and they were 3-minute wonders, so it must have felt...
Yeah.
2/3 as long again.
But think how angry she must have been to have bothered writing this letter to the Sunday Times.
Well, that's good.
I mean,
though.
you
It's made her
really
do
must
something.
have-
It's all about getting people thinking. That's what I always say to you. As long as I'm getting people thinking about what I've said, she remembered what I said.
But what views did you put out in these short films which you feel people perhaps should be talking about, discussing, digesting, thinking about?
Just stuff that was in my head that day when I was filming them.
Yeah.
Is it in your head now?
Some of it is. Now you've remembered me what I said.
Now you what?
Now you've sort of told me what I said in that one. Yeah, I remember saying that.
Yeah.
And I stick by it.
Remember him some other stuff?
Yeah.
I'll tell you now, right? This, if I don't know if Wendy's, listen to this. But,
Almost certainly not.
But listen, right? I was saying about the museums, right, and how they're big and everything, and they've
Brilliant.
got dinosaurs all over the shop. I read that in that museum, they've got something like 7 million bits of stuff in there, right? Now, when I spend 2 hours in somewhere, just show me the good stuff. Don't be saying we've got 7 million bits. Because there was a fella who opened it, right? I did a bit of research on the museum. Fella who opened the museum up.
What was his name?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter, does it?
What museum was it?
It was the London one.
Oh, the London one, yeah, okay.
So he's in there and he's collecting all this, bits of stuff.
What stuff?
Just whatever's knocking about at that
Oh,
time.
right, okay.
It seemed like
You have researched it.
he never chucked anything away. He's like, I won't put it in the bin, pop it on a shelf.
Okay,
right? So
yeah.
he's put everything on a shelf in
right,
the
yeah.
museum. Then as time
I
went
think you're
on,
going into too much detail, but just give us the gist of it.
No, but all I'm saying is, he keeps everything, and if you keep everything, sometimes it'll be good stuff, right? And a lot of the stuff was going missing, the good stuff. But people who set these museums up are just as crafty.
What?
The fella who found Tutankhamun, he was pocketing all sorts of fingers and stuff in his pockets on the way out. That had rings on them and stuff. So all I'm saying is, why is she having a go?
But
She's
hang on,
learned
wait,
something.
what's that got to do with someone pocket? I don't understand your point.
Because she's sort of moaning at me, going, "Don't have a go at the museum and the dinosaurs." But
No,
everybody,
she's having a go at your fatuous point.
Yeah, you're absolutely uneducated,
But,
stupid
I mean,
point that
I-
you got TV time to talk absolute shit. If I could
that's not
paraphrase
my fault,
Wendy.
is it? That's not my fault. If someone says they want me to do a little programme and you can do what I want, I went and did what I did. Free speech, innit?
But we just gave you the chance then to defend yourself, and you just confirmed Wendy's point 1,000 times over. What was all this waffle about people nicking stuff? What's that got to do with anything?
Because she's having a go at me. I didn't nick
But she's
anything.
having a go at you for talking nonsense that's of no consequence, which is what you just did
That
then.
sort of nonsense.
But what was your point?
Oh, all right, then we'll watch Wendy's little programme when that goes out. Let's see what she's got to talk about. Sick of her.
So anyway, as I say, my mother saves various clippings and things which may be of interest. This was recently in the Daily Mail, in one of those kind of gossip columns. Ricky Gervais's cringe-worthy dance routine as managerial buffoon David Brent was undoubtedly the highlight of BBC comedy The Office. Perhaps credit for the scene should not go to Gervais, however, but his lanky co-writer Stephen Merchant. For I hear that 6'7" Merchant has been attracting a great deal of female attention at the so-and-so pub in North London, until he took to the dance floor with Brent-esque results. Says my mole, most of the feminine throng looked away in embarrassment. Putting it kindly, he was rather ungainly, like a giant albatross hopping on stilts. Right, now then, I'll take issue with this, because firstly,
You wouldn't be attracting female attention in the first place.
Rick, if I had been, I'd have phoned the Mail myself. Point A, right, I seem to remember distinctly I was talking to one of my mates the whole night and we were discussing about the fact we were too shy to talk to girls. So wrong there. Point two, as you well know, if I take to the dance floor, which on this occasion I didn't, I remember distinctly not because I love to dance, I would not have been described as a giant albatross hopping on stilts because Carl has seen me dance, you've seen me dance, you know I'm a good mover.
Yeah.
Just in the same way that people can't quite understand how Peter Crouch, the same height as me,
Yeah.
is able to be so brilliant on the football field.
Yeah.
The same, people look at me when I'm dancing, they go, I don't know how that big guy is able to bust some of those kind of moves. I've won 2 dance contests in my life. Those facts, those stats speak for themselves, Rick.
I know.
I mean, you've seen me dancing, how would you describe me?
I think that you look like isn't an albatross, isn't it? So you look like an upright lizard, right? Being given electroshock treatment, and I think that's a lot fairer, isn't it, than the albatross nonsense?
Well, so I'm just trying to picture that, because again, was that a compliment? You were on my side, right? You were defending me there.
A cross between a giant lizard and a stick insect.
Again, because they don't sound, straight away they don't sound like compliments, but I'm assuming you're on my side here.
Stick insect with funny glasses? Is that?
Again, I thought, I was thinking you were perhaps being a bit touch more supportive, but you've not really. Carl, you've seen me dance. What are your views?
It's just like a bit of weird art.
That's brilliant! That is brilliant! That's so much better than albatross!
I wouldn't have said an albatross. I was looking at one of them the other day, and I don't understand what they mean by that, because they're dying out. They say, They dive in the sea.
Oh, it's gone. Something happened in the brain. It went from the point we were making via an albatross, then it just shot off. It just ping like a pinball.
Well, let's hear, because it's going to be another good point.
No, it's just saying how, because I've never seen one, and they were saying, how would you feel if you never saw one again? And I was like, you know, I've got by this long without it. It's not bothered me. But it was just sort of saying, what they do is they dive in the sea, sort of put their head under the water, see if there's any fish knocking about, grab one, get out again, right?
Yeah.
Go to land. I don't know if they're designed to do that.
Well, obviously they are.
No, because seagulls are, because you see them floating about. Now, what's happening is, they're doing that, but getting caught in nets.
Well, that's it. The net shouldn't be there. That's the point. They're totally adapted to their environment, but we came along millions and millions of years afterwards and stitched them up. It's not like people are going, well, the nets were always there. How did they evolve without getting caught in the net? We invented the net. We've only been knocking around for a few 100,000 years.
But what I'm saying is, it's that thing about animals learn by mistakes by other animals. You know, like the monkeys peeling potatoes.
Right. That's never happened. They go and put nuts in the salt water to salt the nut.
Whatever.
How does that get to peeling potatoes?
But
because in your head, they were working in a canteen.
Making chips.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It doesn't matter what the food is. I'm just saying how they know how to sort of prepare
I
that
love
food.
the fact that you don't care what the fact is. When you're discussing facts, that's all that matters. Otherwise, on Mastermind, they just go, who wrote Much Ado About Nothing? Dickens? Yeah, close enough, whatever, someone did. The fact is what matters.
Yeah, but with that question, that's got a straightforward answer. What I'm telling you is the way that animals work. If it's a potato or a nut, it's a foodage.